Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you, Dan?
I am good. Our usual Sunday morning cup of Joe. Discuss what's going on. Things are going well with you and your Kickstarter, though, aren't they?
Indeed. Indeed. When we chatted last week, it had 105 backers, and even that was like, okay, we're about to settle into our doldrums. We're going to have our middle fallow period until the last couple of days of the campaign. Usually, if people are familiar with Kickstarters, and if you have an audience or a mailing list, you kind of have a really big spike on day one. Day two, a little bit less stragglers, a few stragglers, but people who were waiting to jump on board but were precluded the previous day for one reason or another. And then it's just quiet. Sometimes you have a day where it's lower, you lose a backer, and you have a
Oh, I hate that.
uh-huh. So some days could be negative. I've definitely had those days, and then at the end, the last 2 days is a little bit of a spike as Kickstarter sends out reminders to people. Um, Usually 48 hours out and 8 hours out from the ending. But this time, the momentum it seems to have a bit of momentum, and every day this week the campaign got better. I think it's hard to tell. Kicktrack is a site I normally say don't look at because it's going to break your heart. What Kicktrack does is it says, it takes a look at the first day of your campaign and says, okay, if every day is like that, this is how much money you'll make. And the first, no day is ever like the first. So uh, so you see this number, this projection based on just pipe dream, and then your reality is so far from that it's just like, I hate looking at the site. But in this case, I found it useful because it does pretty good day by day tracking, and I could see that the numbers were going up. I did get some nice shout outs from some other existing campaigns, and I think that was a big deal. I'm also running Facebook ads, which I think I mentioned last week I was just starting to do, and I'm going to continue doing it. $5 a day, but uh, from my numbers, it looks like I've paid $35 in ads, maybe $40 now, and it's brought in about $500 in sales. Yeah, no, way better than I thought. I just hoped it would pay for itself and find a few more eyeballs. You get a few more people through the door who would then be on board for the next project or the next project. But this is genuinely solid. And one of the things I'm doing is, we talked about this too, because you have an existing brand and following from your comics days. And Zero Level Media, the RPG side of your world, is distinct. And I have fans from the middle age of the webcomic, and I'm specifically targeting my ads to people who are not fans of that page. So you can say, usually you're going to be like, hey, show me. Usually Facebook's making you pay for people who are already your fans to reach
Right.
them, which is awful. So I'm going the other way. I'm saying, oh, no, I don't want to reach my existing fans. I only want to find people who are not already my fans, but who like Dungeons and Dragons. And that seems to be working. So, whew.
Yeah, you looking at it, you were going to go small, remember?
Yeah, yeah. Like a $1 PDF and a $50 goal, and we changed it. I changed it to $1,000 based on the advice people were giving me, saying if it's too cheap, people will think it's too cheap. You know, not going the full other route, which is like make it really expensive, so people think it's a premium thing. I still want to get more people. I want to build an audience. So $5 for the PDF and $10 for the print version was right, but the average pledge is about $25, according to Kicktrack.
And you were, yeah, $1,000 goal. You're at 5,300 now, and that is great. And you still have 11 days to go.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
So I mean, I think if I can't imagine it's going to continue. I have to. It's always always naysaying, but we could be on track for 8,000 by the end, which would blow me away.
that would be great. And no, I'm stoked for you. That is awesome because mine just ended on Friday, and we just barely got over it. There was a rush at the end. I got a $500 goal, and we ended up at 572.
Excellent, excellent.
So it's fine. It's going to pay for it, but excuse me, like we've discussed here, this is not so much as a make the rent for me. This is okay, let's get our first project out there, get eyeballs,
Right,
get Zero Level Media, get established in the RPG third party product scene. And
right.
so I think that's a good start. And the materials are almost all already done. So as soon as the money gets finalized and in, I should be sending out the PDF shortly after that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm pleased with it. Let me put it this: I mean, whenever you do a Kickstarter, you think it's going to be like that potato salad Kickstarter,
I
right?
forgot about that one. Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, you $1 and you get a potato salad recipe and you end up making, I don't know, the guy made hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right, right.
You're like, oh, this is it. This is going to be my potato salad. It's going to stumble on and it's just going to go and snowball and it'll be great.
Yeah, some sort of lotto scratcher quality to it. Like maybe,
Yeah.
but you had a did you so that's tempered down. It usually gets tempered pretty quickly with Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
Like by day two, you're like, oh.
Yeah, you look at the kick track, thing the first day and you go, wow, I'm going to be able to, buy a new jet ski on top of putting it out. But it's all fine. It's all good. It's all, like I said, my goal in this was promotional material and to get a product out. And so we will be doing an Oddity off-print volume 2 now, probably in the February Zine Quest. And hopefully everybody who bought this first one will be impressed enough to buy the second one. And, if I get another additional 50% on top of that, as far as backers, I'm happy. Sure. Yeah.
Plus, when you have number 2 and you have number 1 as an add-on, your numbers are going to be a lot higher.
Exactly. Yeah. Now we'll discuss the latest live show, Catacombs Comedians live show. But while we're talking about Kickstarter right now, I was able to plug it at the very end of the show. And right then and there, I had 2 people rush the stage with their phones saying, what was that? Let me get it and I'll get it done right there.
Nice.
So boom, that did help.
That's great.
So, and you helped out by doing a link on your updates.
Oh, I hope it helped.
You ready for I got the numbers for you. You ready?
And the second promo, the last ditch one, I didn't include the referral tag. I felt terrible. I just wanted to get it out there. I just copied your link. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. But you ready for the one you gave me?
The one?
Well, the one link you gave me, with the referral tag. Drum roll.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it though.
That's great. That's great.
But that was an experiment we were trying, right?
Sure.
We were looking into it to see how it worked. And I think it was a good, healthy, $11 pledge for the physical product. I'm pleased with it. We will continue to do stuff like that. But no, all these numbers and crunching goes. I am so happy that you are into that side of it, whether regrettably or whether you go into it because you have to, because I just ignore all that stuff.
Right.
My mind headspace cannot wrap around that sort of things. And, so again, you being into it, to able to give me the insight of what you're finding out with these Kickstarter experiments that we're doing.
Oh, I passed along so I got some shout outs from some other people. Some people reached out, like I think I mentioned, the first email I got, I launched the campaign and then my phone lights up. I'm like, oh, backer number 1, let me see it. And it was an email from another person who has a Kickstarter saying, hey, I just noticed you launched. Would you want to swap links? So I have taken up everyone who's offered me that, I think, especially if they've got a 5e thing. I think if it was something like Dungeon Crawl Classics, it might be an odd fit. But the Sundering has got a big campaign going right now, and they shared me a link to my campaign latest one. And I think that happened on Thursday, which was my birthday, and that was a very strong day. That day beat day 2 for an amount of support. So I credit them with that. They didn't use the referral link, so I can't quite tell.
It wasn't just a birthday miracle?
Could be both. It could be both. I also was streaming that day on Twitch, and 2 people during the stream backed it. So there were little things like that. The numbers we're talking about here, we're not talking about Dungeon Dudes numbers or Matt Colville numbers. We're talking about a little, a tiny project. So if I get 2 backers in a day, that's like a massive percentage. These days I'm talking about having a great day is 22 backers.
Yeah.
The numbers in our world, those are huge numbers. So so little things like that, anything that moved the needle even a fraction was enough to make the day much better. So I'm super stoked. Uh, I have no idea if it's going to keep doing anything, but I have to come up with more stretch goals. I was unveiling them, and the latest one I unveiled was more magic items. Easy enough, but I don't want to increase the expenses. My big worry was that the thing was going to lose me money. Like if we had just hit the goal between the cost of casting the minis and getting hardcovers made, I was going to lose money. So no, if we had just hit the goal, I would have broken even. So right now, anyone who orders a mini, that's probably more profit now, because with the casting costs out of the way, each individual sale of a mini is more profitable than it would be. Like the first few are basically, you lose money because you can't. I mean, if I had to make just 20 minis, it might be a break-even prospect, like between the cost of casting and shipping and the labels each box has to have, all that stuff.
No, I get it, because at the live Catacombs Comedian shows, I had T-shirts for the first time.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and you get the print T-shirt, and I couldn't get a huge print run just because I don't have the budget for it. Right. So obviously my individual costs for my T-shirts are more than if there was a smaller run. But then again, I didn't want to charge too much at the show, so I didn't make a lot of money on these T-shirts.
What were you charging for the T-shirt?
$20.
That's good. That's a good price.
But then I went and saw Blondie last Wednesday night, the night after my show, and her T-shirts are going for $40-$50.
Of course they are.
Well, right. It's Blondie, but
sure.
But looking at the quantity I'm able to order T-shirts at and the cost of those, I might have to bump it up to $25 for the next show.
Right.
But I was smart this time. I got the square thing for the phone.
Nice.
So I can do that at the show instead of dealing with cash, or people buy a lot more when they're have their credit card handy.
Yes.
And probably at the next show I'll have some physical copies of the Oddity Off print available too. So
that's great.
We'll have those available. So yeah, it's no, it's been the last 2 days have been my kind of relax, recharge the battery day. I say that as I've spent all 2 days designing a promotional poster for the Catacombs and Comedians side-splitting spooktacular.
I think I saw that. I saw your
a little ad for it. Yeah,
vampire guy.
Yeah, that's not even. I got a much bigger, grander poster I'm working on, but and I don't even have I've got the date for one of the shows said, okay, we'll do it, but I haven't gotten it confirmed yet. And that's, talk about nerve-wracking. I mean, yeah, watching your Catacombs, watching your Kickstarter things, your funding goals if they're going to get reached or not. Try waiting on a date at a comedy club when you put your request in and see if, another comic's going to bump you off because they got...
Right. Somebody's tour brings...
Yeah. Or not even that. It could be somebody's stupid YouTube channel or something, because now there's so many YouTube performers working comedy clubs or podcasts, and they're not even comedy shows necessarily.
Is there a so how was the attendance of the Catacombs and Comedians?
So we had a show on Tuesday. It was our lowest show yet, and because I'm the kind of person I am, I'm going to make an excuse and say that's because that damn My Chemical Romance was playing in town at the same night.
Gotcha.
Crossover crowd. And the only reason I say that is because I had two people who said we're going to come to Catacombs Comedian show,
right,
end up going to My Chemical Romance instead.
Right. Sure. So, you had a lot of, you don't want to be up against must-see TV. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it was... and now here's another weird thing. We're talking about, eyeballs and, how this is, you get this Kickstarter project going just, with the effort of having more people back your next Kickstarter project. So I've done 3 shows now here in Nashville for the Catacombs and Comedians. And this was our lowest attendance yet. And I'm not complaining. It was a great crowd. I appreciate everybody that was there. But when I asked who had seen the show before, one of the first 2 shows, nobody. So This was all new people.
Right.
So I was like, well, hopefully that's no indication of how other people like the show. So I don't know what it is. That's why I'm going all out for this next show in October here in Nashville, the Side Splitting Spooktacular. And it's going to be horror themed. I'm telling my players that they got to wear costumes.
Nice.
Spirit stores are starting opening up, so I might even go buy a smoke fog machine.
Nice.
Just to make it all up.
And what day is the show?
I don't know. I'm afraid to give the date because it's been verbally agreed on,
right?
But I have yet to see them post the date.
Right.
So
it becomes real when they announce it.
Exactly. But I do have a show in Huntsville, Alabama on September 21st. Whatever that Wednesday is. I think it's the September 21st. So that show's in the book. That'll be the second show in Huntsville. Looking forward to that one. Got some great things planned for that one. I'm going to try. Let's see if this works. I don't know if the audio is going to work, but hopefully it does. But let's give it a try. This is the little video from the last show.
Oh, great. I've got Twitch on the other screen.
Can you hear anything on it?
Greetings, nerds. How we doing tonight? Catacombs and comedians. If you are an expert in D&D tonight, make some fucking noise, and let's have a good fucking time. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my incredible DM, Dan Taylor, everybody. Give it up for him. Give it up for Dan.
Everybody roll initiative.
Oh, I got sexually assaulted by a kraken.
There, I'm gonna grab my wood.
What have we here? Some low-hanging fruit. You each have one or more limbs entangled within the branches that are keeping you suspended.
Oh no, help, step bro, I'm stuck.
Wow, I'm bound so tightly. It's suffocating me. I hate it.
So yeah, that was I had a gentleman who actually watched the Mazes and Muses stream, heard my troubles that I was having finding somebody to do video for it. And so he offered his services, volunteered his services, and I got some great footage. That was a quick little piece that he cut and put together.
It looked great. It looked great. It sounded great. The cuts were fantastic. I like the sweeps, the kind of movements of the camera. That was awesome.
So I've got footage now. I'm probably spend this afternoon putting together the actual live show. I don't know if I'll have as much because I'm going to cut it myself. So I don't know if I'll have the fancy cuts as much on this one. But yeah, so I'm going to have a great video to show of this last show. So hopefully that will again promote more and get more eyeballs on it.
Yeah,
have it grow.
When you do the next Oddity Off print, having that video on the page is going to sets a different tone than the kind of the video you had available before.
Exactly. Yeah, the other one was the best I could get.
Right.
But now we're going to have better sound, better it's lit well. I mean, I like how it looked.
It's great.
It's
great.
Yeah, that red $5 tablecloth was the best money I ever spent.
It looked great. Well, so before we leave the Kickstarter, I was wondering, if you have what were your lessons from Oddity Off print #1? What do you take away from the campaign? Is there something you wish you'd done differently? Are there things that things that were real successes, things that you felt like, oh, I nailed this, or things you're going to do differently for the next one?
I will promote it earlier.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking a month out maybe now.
Right.
I will shoot a better video because your video is great. And I think that may have been, everyone says don't judge a book by its cover, but I think people do judge a Kickstarter by its...
We're selling books.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to have a great looking cover. So yeah, promote earlier. When I sat down and did the copy for just the page, the Kickstarter page, it wasn't, I don't think, I was just straightforward. Boom, boom, boom. You know, because I feel like I still question or still ponder the whole, how much of a mystery do you want to make it, or how much do you want to reveal?
Right.
I mean, you should, the transparency should be there, but you don't want to just lay out everything. I mean, 'cause it's not like I'm looking to, you know, bait and switch anyone, but does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, so mine is at the subclass, and I have talked on the stream, and I've talked on here about the some of the I don't know, the quirks of the subclass and the abilities and the perks of the subclass. But those parts I haven't shared on the campaign. I kind of hint at the fact that you get a magic item, and the magic item improves as you level up, but I don't go into the details of how it improves and all that stuff. I basically I feel like that's the main course. The magic items, the new spells, the creatures, those are all garnish. Those are all extras. So I don't mind sharing those, and I feel like the flavor of those things give people a flavor for the book. To me, it was most important that the things I share are the things that give people a taste of what this thing is, and they go, "Oh, okay, I like the sense of humor. I like the artwork. The rules don't suck." It's not like I'm introducing Galactus into their level 3 campaign. I'm also not introducing pushovers, so there or something weirdly broken. So they get a sense. Okay, this person knows how to play 5e. This person has a sense of humor, and the art doesn't suck, basically.
Yeah, I think I may have relied too much on, as beautiful as it is, on Steve Musgrave's art for this, because look how awesome these monsters look, but I didn't really explain the monsters too much other than like a one little short sentence on each one.
Right.
So I think maybe for the next one I will have one sample stat block.
Right. That makes sense. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think I did that. I may have done that in an update. I threw out the stat block for the foul bore, but maybe that was too little, too late.
Did you end up sharing that on Reddit by any chance?
No. I'm. I know you do your market research on Reddit, so to speak, but Reddit scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, I shared one spell and it went great, and then I shared another one and nothing. It's a weird ecosystem. If you happen to post, apparently, if you post any time around somebody else, and if their stuff gets more clicks and likes, it gets more momentum, and relative momentum for your project seems really weak, so it doesn't get promoted the same way, or doesn't get seen by as many people. But that one spell I posted, Shears, huge response, and I think that also helped on a couple of days of people who were like, "Oh, let me check this silly thing out." But I'm going to do one more. I've got the Beard of Holding. I'm going to share this week, and Melvin, the magician, has a beard of holding. It's basically a bag of holding with some perks to it, but it's stupid, and I'm hoping that will be, oh, what is this dumb thing, and people will check out the Kickstarter.
It's funny that you mentioned Beard of Holding, because I was hinting about how I might do a oh, I hear an echo somewhere. But I was throwing out another Kickstarter.
Yeah, you mentioned that. You might have one like right on the back, on the heels of the other one.
Yeah.
Am I causing an echo?
Someone is.
Am I causing an echo?
All right.
Is there another tab open? I find like they'll have a browser window open.
Technical difficulties.
I'm surprised we haven't had more, Frank.
Oh, I just don't think you know about them all.
Well, I should be able to switch into earbuds if that might help. I don't know if it's my microphone or what's going on. But I'm not hearing it. Although I don't have mute me.
Hello?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I was just playing the Twitch stream on my other computer to see if I heard an echo. I'm not hearing one. If folks are in the chat, if they're hearing an echo, please let us know.
I think I may have fixed it.
Yay!
But let's get us back on screen. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Here, let me throw this up real quick. Okay, and we're back. All right, where were we?
Were the microphones live during that screen? I've not. There's a lag when I watch it on Twitch over here, so I don't know.
We'll find out.
Fantastic. No echo here. Oh, thanks, Mondo.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. Okay, so where were we?
We're talking about lessons learned from the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And what, maybe about teasing more information, giving more stuff away. I do feel like as an unknown quantity, as people who don't know, this is my first RPG supplement. I felt like I have to show people what I've got. What am I bringing to the table? Having a little bit of artwork's nice, but there's a lot of pretty pictures with bad stats, or there's bad pictures with great stats. It's like a comic. The writing could be great, but the art might not be, and the art might be great and the writing might not be. So I felt like I have to lay as many cards on the table as possible so people could judge it adequately.
Right, it worked for you. I may have just relied too much on the built-in audience of Catacombs and Comedians.
Right.
And they might not be so into, I need to get the Catacombs and Comedians Monster Manual, or the show is fine. I like the show's great, but I don't need to. I don't necessarily need the material for my own show, or my own game.
So if people want to get out of the off-print one, what's going to be the path now that the Kickstarter's over? How are they going to how do they get a copy? I mean, they'll be able to buy one at one of your shows, but is it going to be
it'll be on Oddity Off-Print too.
Okay.
We'll have it available there as well. And that's what the next Zine Quest is in February.
Yes.
So it'll be available that way, and it'll also be available on like the Drive-Thru RPG site. I believe that's probably. I know there's a few other ways to do it, but I think that's got the most traffic.
Gotcha.
And maybe the most competitors, but something tells me that's the way to go. And I'll have a print run available, and where they just handle the print run. I won't.
Yeah, we got to get DC Bradshaw back on here to walk us through it.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, lessons were learned. I don't think I failed. I will give my first attempt at the Zine Quest. I will give it a grade of a C+. I passed.
There were some that did not. There were some. I looked at that chart again, and there were some that didn't quite hit their mark. They tried, but then some blew the doors off. But even the Zine Quests that blow the doors off, they're not like, they're not potato salad money. They're not. They're not. Matt Colville money. They're very respectable though. There's like a $26,000 one.
See, now for a zine, that just sounds ridiculous.
I love it. I love that. I think what happened was the pitch was great. The Kickstarter gave it the Project We Love designation, so it put it in rotation in front of more people. It had a lot going for it, and also, I think some of the cases that people made were great. There was one that what is it called? Dang it, I'm drawing a blank. I just promoted it. It's all a blur, but they had a totally different approach to mine. My thinking was that, okay, they don't know who I am. I'm not going to make a personal appeal. This guy, his video is him talking, and he's got his kid on his lap, and he's just saying, here's my project. I hope you like it. It was very heartfelt. So,
I've used my kid to promote my stuff. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I totally throw my kid out. I put her in a Catacombs and Comedians t-shirt. And I said, look what we'll have available at the next show. Small human child not included.
Sometimes you see that, you're like, oh no, that poor kid prop. I'm like, but it doesn't feel like when it is heartfelt. When it is heartfelt, it's nice. And I felt like this guy was also, it has because the kid was in the screen as well. It doesn't feel phony because you can't, the kid's not acting, and the whole thing could go sideways, and easily, and because there's interruptions from the child, it was wonderful. It really was really lovely.
You mentioned that your next thing is going to be the Beard of Holding.
Yes,
That's where I was going before technical difficulties. Because I was thinking about doing it, throwing another Zine Quest on in the last 2 days here.
Right.
And it has a Beard of Holding element in it as well. And I'm just going to tease. I was going to show some artwork off, but I'm not ready. But I'm going to tease the title of it, and let me see what you think of this. Phineas Zinnius Fairbeard's Follicle Topical and Whisker Elixir.
I think that's fantastic. Is that the name of the entire thing, the
Yeah.
project?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's a catalog of magic items, of topicals and elixirs and waxes and whatever, and stuff for beards, for hair related magicness. So there's obviously a Beard of Holding type of thing. There's going to be like sideburns of hearing, which add to your perception.
What is the title again?
Phineas Zinnius Fairbeards, that's the guy's name. Follicle Topical and Whisker Elixir.
Fantastic.
And it's going to be done in that old kind of Sears Roebuck 1800s,
Sure.
type of artwork.
Is this a hint at your sort of Wild Quest?
It's not. This is something I've been sitting on for a while. But it could easily be put into that.
Nice.
So yeah, there'll be like some sort of magical comb maybe that does something, brushes, but, like something that makes disguise skill easier, all sorts of things, but they're all beard and hair related type things. But who knows? I mean, I've got 2 days to think about it. If I want to sneak it in on the Zine Quest or just put it out. I mean, either way, it's going to show up some form, some way.
Sure.
Sooner than later, because it's just the title's too fun not to. Phineas Zinnius. Of course, Zinnius is spelled Xineas.
Sure.
Fairbeards, and and I'm going to make the whole backstory about Phineas himself. He's like a dwarven barber who came up with all this. And see, now I'm already thinking of a subclass. The barber, barbermancy.
That's great.
I'll just take the Steve Conley route.
It's not always the smart route, but
But yeah. So speaking of catacombs and comedians, just hopefully when I get those dates, if I get those dates locked in, I'll be really, because I want to do a whole Halloween type theme show, special adventure. Because the way that, and when the video comes out, you'll see I left it on a total cliffhanger where I'm calling them pseudo lynches. They're not quite full liches, and the pseudo lich's name is Brian, and he's the cousin of Vecna. And instead of missing an eye, he's missing a toe.
I thought you were going to say instead of missing an eye. I thought you were going to say Ekna, like instead of missing an eye, he's missing a V. So you ended the show on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That's great. So what are the levels of the players at Catacombs and Comedians? What kind of the characters?
They were 4th in this last adventure in Nashville.
Gotcha.
And they were 3rd. I think they'll be 4th in the next Huntsville show.
Gotcha. And you don't want them to level up often, right? Because it could get out of hand pretty quickly.
Well, I'm going to level them up quicker now, because, I mean, Catacombs and Comedians has changed a lot since I first perceived it. I was getting all into the campaign and the world building, and I was coming up with, background material and doing this and how it's all going to weave together with all the shows and the streaming, and we're going to do all this. And then I got my comics, who I love them all to death, like as if they were my own children. But they threw a fucking wrench into all of that because they just
Sure.
they're not into it for the campaign. They're not into it.
No no strategy survives contact with the enemy.
Yeah. So now I go into planning. Honestly, this last adventure, I didn't plan till the night before because I'm like, what's the point of putting so much? And I don't want to cheapen it, but I've got to, I come up with an outline because I'm going to have to play it by ear because I never know what these players are going to do. They just throw so much different curveballs at me during a game,
Right.
that
Right.
I can't, why I can't establish that as I start to, back a millennial ago in the foggy hills of, Shadow Door, as I start explaining all this exposition, the chance down at the end starts making dick jokes.
Right. There's even like at the start of season 2 of Critical Role, Mercer starts launching into this preamble, this kind of like setting stage, and like as someone just like chimes in with, "Is there going to be a test?" Like even he can't get through his opening DM monologue without people giving him grief. So in a live setting with an audience in front of you, I don't know how you would.
And I've only got an hour and a half to do it. So this last adventure, I just started them all off. They were on a boat, the last adventure, on a river barge. And now I just said, okay, you're all stuck in a tree. The boat, there was a storm and the boat was destroyed. Now you're all stuck in a tree. You wake up. And that's just how I start it now. I just can't, I don't have time to explain how we get from one adventure to the next adventure.
Sure.
It's just boom, boom, boom. Here you go.
How was the crowd? Is it good? Is it a good energy from the crowd?
Yeah, a lot of crowd interaction. They were helped because now my players just get up on stage and they say, if any of you out there know how to play Dungeons and Dragons better than we do, and they do, the whole friggin' audience,
Sure.
Shout out what we need to do. So in essence, the crowd at a Catacombs and Comedian show is the fifth player.
That's awesome.
So I hand, if there's a good suggestion, I hand out. I showed them off last time. I got these inspiration chips.
That's great.
Focus. I don't know. Focus. Yeah, pretty much, kind of. So yeah, so I hand these out, and I just tell the people that get them, tell your dungeon master that I said it was okay for you to use it in their game. I don't know how it flies, but
Right.
no one's reported back to me yet on how it works out. So, but hopefully it's worthwhile.
That's great.
But no, I encourage audience participation, and it really helps the show, and the players love it. And when you get a comedy club audience full of people chanting to inspire the barbarian, rage, 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 rage.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, so that's it. That's my Catacombs and Comedians update.
That's great. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I have no idea how I'm going to follow up Zine Quest 2. What the February Zine Quest will be for me. I think it's going to be a module. I think I'm going to do an adventure module. I don't think I'm going to try to follow up on Intoximancy with try to do a spin-off of that. There is Nibblemancy in the Middle Age, because this is all based on my webcomic.
Right.
And Nibblemancy is the stuff that the Evil King is using. It's basically evil cooking. But it was never, again, this stuff was never meant to be game supplement stuff or fodder for creating RPG stuff. It was more like, I'm just writing a very stupid fantasy story, a very silly fantasy story. And, he's got like cursed cupcakes that he gives somebody. So I'd be partly tempted to try to follow up on the pseudo success of Intoximancy. But I do think I want to do a module. I think a module will be fun. It'd be pushing me in a different direction. It has to be a low-level module, something that level 3s could do, because I don't think I could write something for higher level characters. I have familiarity with the game enough, and certainly the SRD portion of it. But if you add in wrinkles like the spells from Strixhaven or the spells from Spelljammer, which I don't even know yet, I don't think I could accommodate the amount of power creep that's in 5e. Like I could build an adventure, I could build combat scenarios, but I think someone could just come in there and say, well, with my bonus action, I'm going to unleash holy hell on everybody. I'm like, I feel like that's the part where you have to be, constantly aware of the changes in the game in order to properly create a supplement that could survive somebody else's table. And my whole goal would be to create something that would make a dungeon master look good. I would want to create something that says, okay, this is everything you need to empower you to throw a great party. Essentially, you're going to have 2 nights with your friends. You're going to play a game, and you're going to look great, and they're going to have a nice time.
No, and I think that that's a smart route for you to take, because you can also market it towards your readers, saying, hey, so you've seen me doing all this D&D stuff for the middle age, but you don't play middle age. This is a nice low level module,
right? To dip your toe.
Yeah, to dip your toe in. No, I think that's a smart move.
I might make it one of the perks running a game. I might make one of the high level perks. I'll run a game.
Oh, do it, yeah.
And we'll all suffer it together.
See, that's what I should have done. Done a Catacombs and Comedians game utilizing all the monsters that are in the...
heck, if it could just have been a battle royale.
Yeah.
People would have loved it.
Yeah. Okay. Next, lessons learned. This is why we have these Sunday morning coffee meetings every week. Though I think this one might be a little short. Do we got anything else to cover?
I don't know. What is? No, I'm working on the Beard of Holding illustration. I'm going to be sharing that with everybody. I'm working on the next episode of my webcomic, Middle Age. If people do want to check it out, if you're watching this live or or you're catching the replay, if you check out intoximancy.com or Kickstarter Intoximancy, there's even links in the chat. There's still 11 days, I think, to go with my campaign.
Yeah, you got 11 days.
And we're at 218 backers now. So yeah, hopefully by our next conversation next week, we'll be at 320.
And $72,000.
And you'll back it that many times?
Oh, sure. I'll increase your
pledge.
My current pledge.
No, I have the $5 tier. I'm happy if I would love 1,000 people to back it at the tiniest amount. I'd rather have, again, we talked about this before. I'd rather have 1,000 people at $5 than one person at 5,000. It just doesn't, you just want to build an audience for the thing you're creating. You want to, and I'm congratulations on your campaign. Again, quite a few of them haven't made it, and I'm glad yours did. I would have questioned the universe if it hadn't, because I think you're doing something great.
It was so weird because it was set at $500, and we sat at the $500 level for days.
Did you? Oh, yes, you did.
And I was just...
Did you see Backer Kit dropping out $1 and then coming back with $1?
Yeah.
That scared the heck out of me. I'm like, I'm like, wait, what happened? I lost a backer? And like...
Well, I lost a couple regular backers too, but I was just so afraid that we were going to go to the last day at $500 and... 3 or 4 backers drop out, but
right, or credit card doesn't go through,
but we made it through. Well, I still think you get, even though if someone's credit card doesn't go through at the very end, you still,
the campaign's still a success, but then suddenly, how you scraping the money together to make the project happen. That's to me the weird. I've had that happen where it's like we've hit a stretch goal, we've unlocked a stretch goal, and I've announced we've unlocked the stretch goal, and then someone backs out, and like we've now below the threshold for the stretch goal. I'm like, well, it doesn't get relocked. There's no I'm not going to introduce a relocking mechanism. It's not, we unlocked it.
Yeah, that's why I didn't announce. I didn't make a big. Okay, we're funded. A couple days before the end of the thing, just because we were too close to the thing.
How do we make dice? That's a big deal for people. They like that in the campaign. They want to have dice. How do you make it so that there's a D20 for the first 100 back? Like you get a 20-sided die that's got the Catacombs and Comedians logo on the 20. How do you do that, Dan?
I've looked into getting custom made dice, obviously, for the show, and you could get a few handful made. There's people on Etsy and stuff that do it,
right?
But I can't give away a $20 D20 at a show.
No. How do we get them down to like they're $2? They're $1 or $2 a piece.
You got to order 5,000 of them or something like that.
It's a long-term commitment.
Yeah.
The good news is they don't take up much space in terms of storage. You can put them all in one large tub.
But
That was one of the things I set up at a convention, and I'm selling my comics and my graphic novels, and the books weigh a ton and they take up a lot of space. I'm lugging them to the booth, and the woman next to me, she's selling dice, and beautiful dice, wonderful stuff, like snow globe interiors of dice. And she's bringing her inventory, and it's like on one cart, and it's just one like gallon jug, boom, and I'm like, okay, that represents about $2,000 worth of merchandise that she just lifted with one hand onto her table, and I'm like lugging these books that weigh a ton. So I'm envious of the dice makers.
no, I've been in that boat where, okay, I got to, with my comic books and working Comic Cons and shows where, okay, you got a parkway over here. I bought a little cheap luggage dolly because it's all I could afford because I'm working comic book shows. So I'm not rich.
Right.
And by the time I wheel it from my car to my table, the weight of my product has just destroyed my cheap little luggage dolly.
Oh, no.
There's just no win situation in this industry at this level.
It was someone, I think it was attributed to Andy Rutten, who said that I don't know if I got into comics if I knew it was going to be traveling salesman, if I was going to have to be a traveling salesman. I had never heard it put in those terms. I've been doing it for 20 years. The idea that we're traveling salesmen was like, oh, that hurts.
But it's what we are. I mean, it's
selling comics, vacuums, and now RPGs.
Oh, why didn't I finish college and get a PhD?
Your debt would have been forgiven by now.
Yeah.
there's no comic book business debt forgiveness.
Instead of the debt I've accumulated by trying to self-publish comic books.
Sure.
Come on, Brandon, help me out here.
There's I did get the mini of Waddle Bottom assembled this week. This is going to be the one that was from my last Kickstarter. I thought I'd share that. I get control over my camera, don't I? I do. Advanced, autofocus off.
Ooh, yeah, I love it. The detail turned out beautiful.
Yeah. So I got the sculpt. I sculpted this on my Twitch stream, and then the company Trenchworks. I'll show the back of it. The company Trenchworks did the modeling. So there's even like a little critter on the bottom of the base there. I don't know if I can see it. So it turned out great. Super happy with it. I just placed the order for all these for that campaign. And so that's sort of my secret weapon with my Kickstarters too, is having a mini. These I can make. I don't know how to make dice yet. I don't know how to I don't have a vendor for that.
Well, I guess I was just trying to think, can we 3D print dice?
I know some people do, but it's these ones are actually, cast by a casting company. I want to find a company who can make like really pretty dice. And even if it's just super simple, I'd like to be able to offer a very pretty set, even if they're not personalized. They don't have like a tanker does the 20 or something like that. They would be, I would love to have done that. I just couldn't find a vendor to do it. If anyone in chat knows of a good production vendor, there's tons of companies out there willing to partner with you and do all that stuff. But it's like, I'm not printing 1,000 of these things. I want 100 sets. And
I would love to get a D20 where the 20 is the laughing D20 from the Catacombs and Comedians.
It'd be perfect. It'd be perfect.
Because I would, because when I start every show for Catacombs and Comedians, I go, is there anybody here who has not played Dungeons and Dragons? Raise your hand. And I'll go, okay, come up here, come on the stage. And I hand them a pouch of dice.
Really?
With one of these Catacombs and Comedian buttons on the pouch. And I say, there's your first set of dice. Welcome to the club,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I did that for the first time in Huntsville, I think, and it went over real well. So I did it this last week. And now that'll be my regular thing to get the show going.
That's beautiful. I love that so much.
Yeah. They're not fancy dice, They're dice I bought on bulk on Amazon or something. But
when I do get Intoximancy in, I'll mail you some copies include as your giveaways.
So perfect. Yeah.
Maybe other publishers will get on board and send you stuff to give away to people, because why not?
It's
doing something,
and it's
awesome.
and it's promo for them,
Right. That's true. I know. Think about it. I can't think about it that way, because it's like, what is it? It's not really a sampler for the line of products you can get from me. It's the only thing I've got. So giving it away is sort of like giving away the store. But I do love what you're doing about getting more people to play, getting people excited about playing, and yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, again, the best compliment I ever get at the end of a show is like my day job. My boss came and saw the show. She didn't see the first 2 shows, but she came to the 3rd show. And she has no idea what Dungeons and Dragons is. She just came to support, one of her employees, which is beautiful and awesome. And the next morning, she goes, "Okay, you want some criticism about your show?" And I'm like, "Let me have it." She goes, "I want to play D&D now." I went, "That's perfect." I never would have pegged you in a million years to be a D&D player, but I love the fact that Catacombs and Comedians is turning people on to the idea of playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it's not a scary, nerdy thing played in dark basements. It's a scary, nerdy thing played in dark comedy clubs.
That's great.
But yeah, so that's by far, I am extremely, extremely pleased with Catacombs and Comedians. And, we're going to keep on going.
That's awesome.
All right. Let's wrap this up. We're at the 50-minute mark.
All right. Well, it was good talking with you. Congrats again on the campaign. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I've got another package coming your way soon.
Really?
Yeah, it rhymes with Pulsar. It actually is Pulsar.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's your belated birthday gift.
I appreciate it. That's great.
Yeah, so again, Toxomancy has 11 days left on Kickstarter. Go hit it. Check it out. Check out Steve's amazing work. It's just beautiful to look at.
Thank you. I'm so happy with how the art turned out. I'll put a link in the chat. I think I can do this. Does it come across as me?
No, please refrain from posting links. There's a link in there. It's already popped up once. I've got it set on cloud.
I am. Oh, you have it automatically removed. Oh, that's hardcore.
Yeah, I'll get you. I'll make you a mod, so you can do stuff.
I stream on Twitch as well, but I don't have that set up. I need to learn how to do that.
So go check it out. It's in toxomancy.com. Takes you there. He's got 11 days left. It's beautiful work. And again, Catacombs and Comedians will have the show, the 3rd show at the Zanies Comedy Club here in Nashville will be available online here on this Twitch channel and the Zero Level Media YouTube channel, and probably going to do a special version with more bells and whistles that will be available on the Zero Level Media Patreon. I haven't talked much about it, but one does exist where shows behind the scenes, Catacombs and Comedians stuff, but we were waiting to get the zine stuff taken care of.
Do you have a link tree with all your various, that part of the Zero Level Media empire?
That's thinking ahead, Steve. That's smart marketing.
I'm just trying to keep track of all the various. You're gonna have a TikTok channel soon. You got your MySpace page, your Friendster page,
yeah, my GeoCities page. You contact me at catacombsandcomedians@aol.com. Yeah. No, eventually I'll figure out how this all works and, become the social media empire that I want to be. Or if not me, my 6-year-old daughter can help me out.
Sure.
That's what she wants to do when she grows up, is be a YouTuber.
Is that true?
Yeah. Much to her mother's chagrin, she wants to be a YouTuber. Well, now, as of yesterday, she wants to be a master expert Lego builder. So who knows?
Probably a way to bring those two things together.
You would think. All right, Steve, again, thank you. As always, I enjoy these Sunday mornings. October 16th, I believe, we've got Matt Forbeck.
That's awesome.
Being a guest, and he has worked on any and every single role-playing game ever made, I believe, or if not most of them.
Well, and I know in 2 weekends in September, I'm not around because I'm going to be doing at comic conventions. I've got the Daytona Beach Comic Con in the second weekend in September. I've got the Palm Con in Palm Beach, Florida in Saturday. That won't interfere with our show on the 18th, I don't believe. 17th, 18th. And then I've got the Savannah Comic Con, which I'll be at. But who knows? Maybe bring in Steve Musgrave as a guest Steve or something like that.
I've got to find another Steve to be my guest on the Mazes and Muses. I only work with Steves. My brother's name is Steve, by the way.
Nice.
And he does not watch any of this or care about
Good,
anything.
Get on the play.
But no, so that's great. You're not gonna live stream from your table at the show.
If I thought I could actually get an internet connection to any of those convention places, I would. But I've seen some of the. It's a slideshow. It's terrible.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, we will definitely be on. What's our next week? Is good to go. Or is it September 4th?
September 4th.
Okay.
I'll see you then, and we'll have an update, and hopefully, if you might have a new Kickstarter having launched.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's see how busy. I tend to over promise and under deliver.
That's all.
All right. Talk to you later, Steve. Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everybody.